Welcome back, everyone. Can't believe it's Monday already, but it's Monday already. And that means it's another week of live streams, live shows with yours truly, the dynamic duo of Kev and Dave Baker. Huh? Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I suppose time to get started on my own live stream, or our live stream, the Kevin Dave Baker Show. Quite a funny one. I got a message on Facebook from somebody, and they're quite insistent that if Dave Baker doesn't get more airtime, they're done with me. They're finished. They're through. They're almost on the verge of cancelling me. Obviously, tongue in cheek, but boy, oh boy, did that make me smile today. So how are you all doing? Hope you're all raring to go for another week. I'm still here, not cancelled yet. And listen, that's a badge of honour these days, right? But what a weekend it's been. Old yours truly here. I really, I'm not getting much time off these days, but that's not a bad thing. Because I'm like all of you. I crave more information, more woo. And the more, the better. It doesn't even matter to the detriment of my own health and sleep and things like that. Because over the weekend we had Scott Lopez on Saturday. Great laugh. Great topics. Tesla all the way out to alien octopuses. Yeah, go figure. But then last night, my oh my, what an episode of Warrior Mode with Bill Bean. And we're going to be talking about that, and in particular, the special guest that we had on last night. No, it wasn't the Mothman, and it definitely wasn't.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
That either. But it was Travis Shortt and his teenage daughter as well, who came on to talk about her experience. So we're going to be talking about that today. But before we go anywhere, it's a chill stream. We don't do anything really serious here. We kick back, we relax. I get in the groove, get my mojo on for the main show over on TFR. And you, all of you out there, are a huge part of this. So what I need to do really quickly before I go into the chat room and give a few of you a little shout out is I need to go over really quickly onto Facebook and share this link with a few people. Because if not, they may not get the link. And if they don't get the link, they're going to get really angry. And if they get really angry, that'll upset me. So I'll make sure that they get this right now. And nanny, puff, puff in the chat room. Susie, don't you panic. I won't be sending it to you today. I see you in there. Karen as well. Karen, I'm going to do an actual Karen stream one day. Not one of those triggered Karens. Not that. Our very own Karen. Because I tell you what, for somebody that provides really, really, really spot on content, and without ever having spoken to me physically, her and her husband, the Gherkins, not the gerbils, Karen, right? Private joke. But the Gherkins, they seem to know exactly, just exactly the kind of article that would give me an aha, a pause for thinking moment. I can't thank you enough, Karen. And again, it's not a hashtag Karen, it's a KBS Karen. There's a big, 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 profound difference there. Okay. And a big shout out to another one of our own in the chat room. She was very gracious to me recently. She wrote for me her psychic reading that she got when she was trying to see if any messages would come through for me. I got a real kind of creepy feeling that for one part of that reading, it seemed to be really spot on. And that is, of course, our very own Little Glob out there in the chat room. Little Glob is 21 again today. Yes, it's her birthday. So we always like to give a shout out to anyone who has a birthday here. So Little Glob, this one is for you today. And Karen's laughing in the chat room. Not a hashtag Karen, just a KBS Karen. Big difference. Okay. So in there we've got the Mojo. How you doing, Mojo? And remember, change your chat to live chat. Not just you, Mojo. I didn't single you out of 50 people. I'm not that bad. I mean everyone. I've really got no idea the difference between top chat and live chat when you've got a stream that maybe gets 100 people at the most. I don't really know there's much of a difference, but it's the done thing. So set it to live chat. So in there we've got the Little Glob, we've got Connie, Algo. Big shout out to Algo. And Algo, please feel free to promote your channel. Leave a link to that on the stream. I was tuning in there the other night. I think I posted it over in Discord. You might have noticed a few extra viewers coming over. Really good content, man. Can't wait to have a conversation with you on the show. Drop me a little message on Discord. Let me know when's the best time you're going to be free. I've got a lot of free dates for this month still to fill, so we'll get something sorted, okay? We've also got in there the Bearded Traveller, a fellow Glaswegian. In fact, no, a true Glaswegian. Remember, I just squat here. I'm from the Highlands. I'm like the Loch Ness Monster's, like, really, really weird cousin. And I'm not from Glasgow originally, so Bearded, he's born and bred. He's a proper Glaswegian. Anne's a Glaswegian. That's a typical Glaswegian. That's all I'll say for that. Yep. We've got AJ McCammond in there. ZX81. Rick Anderson, big shout out to you, brother. Thank you for supporting the show last week. And to Leslie as well, big shout out to you. If anyone does want to support the show today, I'd be really appreciative if you hit the PayPal. Just this once. We've got the super chats as well. And remember, it's not necessary. I cringe even having to say it. So if I'm saying it, you know there's a reason. But we'll get back into the chat room. We have got Lewis, Skipper Key Philo. We love that one. The Bearded Traveller. I wonder if you're getting like more bearded the way I'm getting hairier during this crazy lockdown thing going on. So we've also got John Nelson, Nanny Puff Puff, aka Susie. Let's see. Is there anyone else sneaking about in here? Is there? I think that's about it for now. Lewis Welsh is in there as well. Yep. No, I haven't. I haven't seen the new Hanks movie. I haven't. It looks good though. I do fancy seeing that one. We've also got it's Little Glob again. So Karen as well, Mojo. I think we got them to start with. With that out of the way, we've got an hour before the main show, so I suppose I really ought to start talking about why I got you here today. But just coming here isn't that part of the whole KBS pre-show chill stream. I think with my titles, I'm quite blatantly obvious that when you come here, don't expect me to solve the biggest riddles in the world. I ain't gonna be exposing no like once in a lifetime Pulitzer type prize winning story. It's just me. I'd be sitting here anyway. We've got a bit of a rapport, the KBS audience and I, and why not just come live instead of just sitting over on Discord like we would do anyway. And talking of Discord, get your invite from probably ZX. That man works tirelessly on the disco. He's the unsung hero of KBS. And there are many, actually. There are many. You all contribute in your own way to the show. And that's what makes it easy for me, the guy, and Dave to come in front of the camera and go on the microphone, despite the fact I've got a face that looks like it's been melted after having a car crash. It's all good because we don't judge here, right? I'll ugly shame myself because that way, when I ugly shame in the future, nobody can say that I'm, not an equal opportunities kind of ugly shamer. So I don't know how I got into ugly shaming, but it kind of fits, I suppose, because we're going to be talking about the Mothman. And last night, wow, is it just me or was that like kind of jaw dropping material? Bruce Wayne, yes, you found me again, brother. You know everyone's going to find me over here. Tommy's there as well. Rorschach. Edward, good to see you, Edward. Everyone's going to find me here, and then they'll probably go and say the good channels or the bigger channel is it's good to party on again. Well, I don't really care because I'm planning on really concentrating on KBS 2. If we get KBS 1 back, that's going to be awesome. I'm going to use that more for my newfound video production skills. Okay, I'm no Jedi yet, I get that. I'm probably more akin to an embryo Yoda, not even baby Yoda. But we've got a bit of like video stuff happening now. I've got a 3D city that is under construction on After Effects. We'll be able to drive through that, or at least it'll appear like we're driving through some kind of Matrix style, only with a KBS-esque kind of feel to it. And so we're going to maybe concentrate and put bigger, pre-produced, stepping up the game videos onto the main channel. And this one here, because we're having fun, I'm having fun, we're keeping it woo, we're looking at the black goo and all that mad stuff, then this is where we'll have our memberships, we'll have our pre-shows. I'm hopefully going to start doing after shows as well. Again, just where I can come, wind down, have a coffee. Most people listen to the show that come to the stream here, and then maybe you're looking for somewhere to go after that. Well, I only sit here usually, play Scrabble, and then I've got this whole heap of adrenaline, and I need to kind of calm down. Now, maybe streaming isn't the best way to calm down, but the reason I bring it up is because this channel here is really starting to, it's growing nicely. We're getting near to 4,600 subscribers now. And when I switch the memberships on here, this will be the place that we have the memberships. There's not going to be swapping back and forth if it ever comes back on the main channel, which I doubt it will. But this will be our main base for our streaming, our fun, our woo, our weekend with Scotty, all the good stuff, as I like to call it. And like I say, that bigger channel, which is overinflated, I get it. I garnished a lot of those thousands of subscribers back when I was going through a learning process. I was going to the far end of the conspiratorial world, and everything I looked at seemed absolutely 150% true. There was no second guessing it, no questioning it, focused. And with that came lots of clicks. People like all that. They like the drama. They like the sensational stories. It's not mocking. It's not bigging it up. It's an observation. It's a fact. And that's what gives that KBS 1 channel with 91,000 odd subscribers. It's overinflated because of how we used to cover topics before I learned more, before I gained an appreciation of how to look at things, not just 360, but 720, all the way around it, up, down, sideways, inside it, otherworld it, you get it, right? So this is where we're going to have our main kind of members, our little safe space. So I'm rabbiting now, I'm going on, okay? How we got there, I don't know, but it's a chill stream, like it says on the tin. So yeah, last night, the Mothman. Let me get to it. So if I pull this up here, people out there are probably laughing, going, does this guy ever get to what he's going to be talking about? Sometimes when I'm talking about something, I forget halfway through as well, which can be hilarious. I know when it's happening, although I don't point attention to it, because that way people might realise just how stupid I really am. We can't be having that. So if we come over here, hey, Queenie, big shout out to Queen as well. She got the message. Big shout out to Frank. Anyone else coming in? Jim Bob Walton. My Jim Bob. Am I now a Walton? Have you just Waltoned me? Dang, dude. So, what we do on Warrior Mode is we do the live stream on KBS 1, and then I take that video and it goes on to Bill's channel. And if we go over here onto Bill's channel, really easy to find, Bill Bean, look for channels. And then in the videos, you'll see that we've got all of our previous episodes in here. And our good one there was Cheryl Jones. Now, I'll post a link to this in the actual... Little Glob says there's a shoe incoming from Anne. There almost was when I mentioned that she's a typical Glaswegian. She felt her name being mentioned. But shh, don't mention that, right? So that's Frank, big up to you as well. Definitely brother. You see, I'm very hesitant to call anyone brother or sister now. I'm getting woke, you know, I'm gaining an appreciation for these kind of pronouns and identifiers and all that kind of wacky stuff. But it doesn't matter how often me and Scott Lopez joke about the Mothman being the Mothman.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
You feel it? It will always be for me one of the most interesting and intriguing and quite unsettling supernatural stories slash entities out there. If there's maybe the top 3 kind of things, but if I had to choose only like 3 topics I could continue looking into and almost obsessing over, I actually think the Mothman might be one of them. I really do. For a number of reasons. The whole 1966 sighting, the original thing that gave birth to this phenomenon. That whole time period that we were talking about last night, the 13 months leading up to the absolutely horrific accident with the bridge collapsing, that there, especially when you look at it through the writing of and the eyes of John Keel, that's got to be like the most weird 13-month period of time that maybe anywhere has ever experienced when it comes to the supernatural. And bearing in mind, you know, all the things that have gone on and are going on, that's a pretty bold claim to make, right? But last night, listening to Travis getting into all of this, and was it just me, or dang, does this guy have like the best radio voice in the world? Take a listen to this.
Had formed an alliance. Our advertising agency in Virginia had merged with Quantum Source Networks, another small production company in Las Vegas. We merged.
You can't buy a voice like that. You can't. That's up there with the dude that does the voiceover for Oak Island. It truly, truly is. I'm telling you. But listening to Travis, his research into it, again, it was kind of jaw-dropping, even though I'm pretty familiar with the actual story. Hearing about his first-hand interaction with some of the people that actually witnessed it the first time round. His own weird dealings with potential Men in Black type characters. And that whole Men in Black thing, that's another reason that the whole Mothman is on a different level. There's multiple levels to the Mothman. It ticks so many of the supernatural woo type criteria that I look for. It truly, truly does. You've got the entity itself. I mean, it sounds like something that Bram Stoker would have came up with, you know? A big, 8 foot tall, muscular, absolutely jet black humanoid figure with big angel wings and glowing red eyes. That's not anything that you find on your typical kind of wholesome episode of the Waltons, is it? It truly isn't. No, that there is crawled out of some dimension that is definitely not a good place to be. Definitely not. I want you to think about it. Out of all the Mothman stories that you've ever heard, how many of them left you with a warm, positive, buzzy kind of, oh, a nice, warm, and fuzzy feeling? I don't know why I said a buzzy feeling. Maybe if you've got a bee stuck down your neck, but if you've got a bee, or you think you've got a bee near you, always be very, very hesitant. It could be one of those crazy hornets. Yes, I can't say the M word. That'll get us in trouble. I can't say where they're from. That's culturally inappropriate. But you know, crazy big hornets. Bzz. How I got there from Mothman? Not that's not too bad, I suppose.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Freak. Anyway, so with the Mothman on my mind, I really didn't get much sleep last night. That show there, if adrenaline levels can go from say 0 to 100, some shows probably average 50, you know. You come off, you're pretty buzzing. Stream like this, 50, 60 maybe, having good fun here. But that show last night, that was going off the charts. So I was up for a long, long while after the show. Listened back to a little bit of it, re-uploaded it onto Bill's channel. Urge you all to check it out. Please share it far and wide. So when it came to today's pre-show stream, it was kind of obvious what I wanted to talk about, what to go over this. And then I also wanted to take a look and see if that whole new episode of Mothman is still going on. Now, I say new episode of Mothman because I go back to 2017. Bill and Travis went back to 2013 last night, I believe. But it's not Point Pleasant in West Virginia anymore that seems to be plagued by these flying humanoid type entities. It's seemingly moved to Illinois and the Chicago area. So I was quite impressed. You know, Travis, he obviously keeps up with all things Mothman, but very, very well read on the subject. Obviously, you can tell this guy spent a major part of his working life, his career, concentrating on this, as he explained on the show. And the fact that he is now looking at the whole present day wave spate craze, are Mothmen trending in Chicago? We could say that. So it didn't take me long today to find a little story that we can go over here before we shift gears, go over to the main Kev Baker show, where it's going to be really algorithm unfriendly today. So I urge you all to tune in. It's always fun when I'm algorithm unfriendly. And we're going to be talking about some things that really do need talking about, okay? And we'll get into some woo, and we'll get the phones open, hopefully, because there's a lot for me to go over. But we're going to go into the Mothman. Definitely man. So then, has the fabled Mothman made Chicago home? So I'm going to take a little drink here, build up the suspense as you do, you know. It'd be kind of cool if the Mothman came in with music like this, eh? Bit of thug life going on for the Mothman. Maybe he does, eh? Chicago's a pretty wild place, right? Say it probably rivals Glasgow for crazy characters. So it says here that since 2017, that seems so long ago, right? Yet it was only a couple of years ago. Chicago residents in both the city and the suburbs have reported seeing a large winged creature in the city's skyline. Maybe it's Batman. But hey, Marvel's what could be Batman? I mean, just saying. So multiple witnesses describe the creature as being taller than a human being with glowing eyes and bat-like wings. And as we came to learn last night, that original description of angel-like wings coming out the back. And having watched that Warrior Nun show recently, you do see the whole kind of angel wings, CGI'd. But I can see where that description comes from, especially when it's 8 foot tall and looks absolutely monstrous. So then, many have dubbed the mystery creature the Chicago Mothman due to similarities with the humanoid made famous by John Keel's 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies. Big shout out to Armand. We sometimes see him in the chat room. Armand sent me like a copy of that via Audible. Best audio book, hands down, easy, that I've listened to in many a year. So a recent sighting came in November 2019 when a truck driver claimed to have seen the mysterious creature while on the job, picking up a shipment of Nippon at O'Hare International Airport. Now, the witness said he was having a cigarette, or was he having a PPP? Probably. Was having a PPP as the truck was loaded when he spotted something like a large bird standing by the parking lot fence. Now, he said in a statement, it looked like a person with wings that were stretched out and flapping. So reports like this have been numerous in the past 3 years. In Chicago, there were 55 sightings of a similar winged being in 2017 alone. Just think about that, folks. Now, I get it. I try to be as logical as I can, while at the same time maintaining my love of the woo. Logic can often get in the way of woo. But at the end of the day, we're after the information, right? We're after the truth here, and I have to be honest. And I would imagine that, let's just say for argument's sake, ballpark figure, just to serve a purpose. Let's say there was 10 sightings of what people were reporting as Mothman early on in 2017. Now, we have to be logical, we have to be honest, and we have to say, well, hysteria, copycats, people just wanting to, just get a laugh, a joke, and people wanting to get some kind of perceived fame out of having their own Mothman sighting. Point being that maybe 55, maybe that's stretching it a little, but at the heart of it, it means there must have been at least some uptick in people seeing this for that to have been exaggerated to 55. Does that make sense? I hope so. So in a January 2018 article, Vice, I've been interviewed by Vice back in the day, you know? Yes, that's why Joe Joseph hysterically calls me the Vice man. Different story altogether. So Vice interviewed an employee of Logan Square Bar, the Owl, who interviewed an employee of Logan Square Bar. So the Owl, who says he spotted the Mothman. So hang on a minute. This guy works in a bar called the Owl, and he says he spotted the Mothman gliding above the northwest side neighborhood one night while working. Bouncer John Amitrano told Vice it didn't look like a bat so much as what illustrations of pterodactyls look like. This thing didn't have any figures on or have any feathers or fur, and it didn't fly like anything that I've ever seen. Now, bear in mind, we've been looking at that crazy picture of the golden bat in the Philippines, the golden flying fox. I'll pull up a picture of that here. Flying fox. Yeah, that thing here, images. So we've had this big thing doing the rounds. This photograph here was on Coast to Coast, and we know that you can get winged entities, winged creatures, biological, known about, that become a fair size, okay? Now, the reason I bring that up is because it's not impossible that if you were to see something flying around that's maybe got like a 5 or 6 foot wingspan, catch it in the wrong light or the right light, depending on how you look at it, that maybe it's not going to, I mean, something that is a physical creature here like this could be seen and mistaken for the Mothman, right? Right? I mean, it could be. But then you've got this guy here who gives it that kind of more detailed kind of description. No hair, you know, featherless, furless, and it didn't fly like anything he'd ever seen. So it says such sightings such as these are not new to Illinois. On July 25th, 1977, a Logan County resident claimed that while watching her children play in the backyard one evening, 2 giant bird-like creatures attacked her family. One of these giant birds, the resident claimed, snatched up her son in its talons and carried him several yards before dropping the child. So for many who take these reports seriously, spotting the Mothman isn't all in good fun. Largely due to Keel's book, the Mothman is often considered to be a harbinger of doom. Believers in the creature often associated him with the deadly Silver Bridge collapse of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, where the lives of 46 people were lost to the icy Ohio River on December 15th, 1967. Now, a statue of the Mothman has since been erected in Point Pleasant, and we spoke about that last night. A stark and somber reminder for those who believe his myth. And whether the Mothman is the bringer of misfortune or simply a neutral party trying to warn us of inevitable tragedy is a point of debate among paranormal enthusiasts. So it says if Chicago's newest winged resident is the same Mothman that Keel wrote of, should Chicagoans be worried? I don't live in America, so perhaps I'm getting a false sense of what it's like in Chicago. But isn't there a level of violence there regularly between the gangs that you could make a case for? You could at least argue that there's always something pretty grim and pretty kind of low level, low vibration going on in and around that place. Grant, would you extend me that kind of? Would you go there? I would go there. Absolutely. It's the one thing that when I've tried to make sense of why the Mothman could be in and around Chicago, that's the thing I keep coming back to. That, and of course, Obama's wife/husband needs to go for a flight now and again. I don't know. But no, that's a joke. That's a joke. I know it's not the best of jokes, right?
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Michael. I mean, Michelle. So if we go back here, I think Chicagoans worry a lot anyway, said DePaul professor Trisha Hermes, or Herms, depending how you want to pronounce it. People have told me they hate me reading, so I'm going to read more. Who teaches composition and rhetoric with a focus on ghost stories and folklore. So we worry about the weather, our sports team, I'm a Cubs fan, taxes and crime. Mothman looks very frightening and foreboding. That would be how I would feel. Yeah, obviously, like I said, there's never really been many stories of the Mothman turning up when somebody's been lost, somebody's been in danger, and he's come along in his big Mothman type of way and said, "Oh, it's all right. Don't you worry about it. Have a sandwich. I'll make you a cup of tea. I'll take you home. Everything's cool." Mothman drops you off at home, high-fiving, or high-winging. No, it doesn't work like that. Shh. Things you have to explain to these normies. So theories as to who or what the Mothman really is are as numerous as the reported sightings of him. Some believe him to be an extraterrestrial, while others categorize him as a legendary beast akin to the Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil. Often he is described as an interdimensional traveler, an ultra-terrestrial with command over space and time, with the ability to jump from one dimension to another like a car changing lanes. Funny it says that. An ultra-terrestrial with the command over space and time, with the ability to jump from one dimension to another like a car changing lanes. One thing on the show last night that I'm really glad Travis was able to kind of expand on for me was the connection between the Mothman and the Men in Black. I think you really need to kind of check out John Keel's work if you haven't, to get a real appreciation for the fact that, for me, the Mothman and the Men in Black, they almost one and the same. They come together. Especially around the time of the 1966, 67 kind of thing in Point Pleasant. And these Men in Black, very much the kind of, is it Tommy Lee Jones, Will Smith movie? You know, you see them, they've got the black suits on, the black hats. Men in Black, people call them G-Men, Feds. Me, personally, I don't really know what they are. Now, take the Mothman out of this for just a minute. But if you want to find something out of time and space, for me, the Men in Black are it. Now, I don't know if they turn up to record events on the timeline. I don't know if they're like some kind of crazy chroniclers of events in time, across time. In the TV show Fringe, which I couldn't recommend highly enough to anyone out there if you haven't seen that, that deals with this universe and the alt-verse. So there's Kev here, and then there's alt-Kev. There's two universes. I suppose they stop being uni when there's more than one, right? Multiverse. But there's two of them, right? And in that, you've got the Observers. Now, the Observers, their names are months of the year. And they're creepy little, really, really chalk white, black-eyed, kiddish adults in Men in Black suits. And they're there. They, as their name suggests, observe things. Is there something to the whole Men in Black, the black-eyed kids, the Mothman, where it is almost like it says here that there's something very much outside of time or to do with time? In Keel's work, he talks about how some of the witnesses that had interactions with the Men in Black, they had a bit of weirdness when it came to time. The Men in Black, they wouldn't know how the clock worked. They seemed a bit weirded out when that they would be asking about times, about time. Again, it probably sounds really weird if you haven't heard John Keel's work or read it, but there's something niggling in my head that there's some kind of temporal happening around this. And then if there is, then in Chicago, now, people out there, I'm not in America, remember, but does Chicago not play home to, I want to say Fermi Labs? Is it Chicago? Probably not. It is. So, yeah. Fermi Lab, Chicago, right? The reason I bring it up is because it's got one of them. Well, you can't really see that, but it's a particle accelerator, right? Particle accelerators, portals, openings. Remember, it's not just CERN with the ability to breach that 10 tera electron kind of threshold that you need to literally whoosh, rip holes in the fabric of space and time. Brookhaven Labs in New York was doing it way before CERN even achieved the 10 tera electron volts that you need to, produce the strangelets required to whoosh, I don't know, rip open the fabric of space and time and maybe let in and out beasties like time travelers. And if I was going full woo, maybe the Mothman and maybe the time travelers are the Men in Black. And maybe the black-eyed kids are going between timelines learning about them. You can't be born a man in black, can you? You have to go through some kind of training, only it looks like almost like a lifestyle, doesn't it? It looks more than just a job. You don't just be a man in black and then go home and play cribbage or come streaming and talk about all the good woo. It seems very kind of vocational, maybe even generational to be a man in black. Wouldn't you agree? Do you think? Right down the rabbit hole. Just like that, it can happen. Just like that, it can happen. Where we go all the way in. And then you have to clamber to the top of the rabbit hole and say, whoa, 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 whoa. But if we come back to where we were before I slipped off the edge of the rabbit hole, it says here that considering that tensions are high because of everything going on in the world right now, Hermes believes that the spooky legends such as the Mothman serve a greater purpose than mere entertainment. The amount of conspiracies springing up about this thing going on in the world is crazy. Some say this is Mother Earth's way of taking revenge on pesky meat suits. That'll be us. And I think a belief in the paranormal, like the Mothman, can be a kind of shield from whatever harsher truths, or from even harsher truths of the world. Doesn't explain the Point Pleasant Mothman in the 60s. Doesn't explain your own story that's talking about 2017. That thing wasn't going on in the world in 2017. The Polia online website. Just saying. So for some, a figure like the Mothman could be a perfect scapegoat. Yeah, I'm sure people like Uncle Bill. I'm sure he would probably prefer people were pointing the finger at the Mothman, but they're not. Nobody's blaming the Mothman. A totem some folks would use to direct their fears and frustrations with the current level of chaos in the world. So for Hermes, that is the role the Mothman served in the case of the Silver Bridge collapse. People want to make sense of random things. Random violence and accidentally being deleted are frightening and something we cannot control. We look for a meaning in the chaos. Now that's actually true. That's our brains have a real inclination to search for connections, connect dots that may or may not exist. And that's going to become really pivotal. That whole kind of thing, that confirmation bias, finding dots and connecting them when they're not there. It's going to be pivotal to part of tonight's Kev Baker show that will be starting in, oh my word, 25 minutes. I did have another story about time to get into, but we'll do that on the main show. But it says here, whether you believe in the Mothman or not.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Hey, you got to be inclusive, whoever wrote this. His or her impact on pop culture and modern mythology is undeniable. And mythology is also going to be a very major cornerstone. People will be saying I'm a Mason now. I'm really not. I'm blatantly not. But not like a good conspiracy, right? So yeah, we'll be talking about that on the show today as well. Whether or not you believe in the Mothman or not, his impact on popular culture and modern mythology is undeniable. Keel's book is served as the inspiration for the 2002 film The Mothman Prophecies, starring Richard Gere, no less. So countless other books, blogs, and documentaries have come and gone since. And the Mothman is even celebrated annually in the town he originally put his mark on, Point Pleasant. Every year, between 10 and 12,000 paranormal lovers come to West Virginia town for Mothman Festival. According to the festival's official website, visitors can enjoy the event for free, where there'll be live music, merchandise from various vendors, great food, cosplay, and speakers. However, considering the amount of time Mothman seems to have been spending in the Windy City as of late, it leads one to wonder if the Flying Spectre has chosen or hasn't chosen to make Chicago his new home. For some, that may be bad news, but consider the positive. In the midst of all of the Andromeda, who does social distancing better than a mythical creature? Absolutely, yes. I can see him being the mascot of the World Health Organization. But yes, that is little article there by the Depolia website. That's depolia.com. I think it's very local to the Chicago kind of area, folks. But I'm going to have a little drink of my cold tea. It's got very cold now. And I'll be back in a couple of moments. I'll put some music on, put the intro vid on. I'll be back. We'll shift gears. I'll start to wrap it up, and then we'll head on over to today's main Kev Baker show over on Truth Frequency Radio. So bear with me, ladies and gents. I will be back in just a moment, and we'll get ready to move on to the main show. And oh, have I got lots lined up for that? Oh, Lewis, that's chilling. Lewis says, I've seen shadows at work in the basement sometimes. Oh, that sounds like the start of a really good creepypasta story, brother. It really does. So, anyway, I don't know about the shadows in your basement. I haven't heard any more disembodied voices in my toilet. Hey, so far so good. Touch wood. And no, I didn't bring it up with Bill yet because I haven't had that kind of creepy, spidey sensey type feeling yet. It may be something totally logical to the fact that I'm hearing Anne talking to me in the toilet and she isn't. Maybe she's just trying to drive me mad. Wouldn't take much, I hear some of you saying. But I'm going to shift gears now, and that means I'm going to get my behind in gear, go make myself a coffee, and get myself ready to take on some of the bigger piles of smelling dung that are going around the internet right now. Yes, I'm going to be, no doubt, cast as some skeptical debunking shill at the end of today's show over on TFR. But hey, if we can't draw on my experience and listen to my opinion without getting triggered, well, what can I say? What can I say? And I've got a clip to play on today's show. It's brilliant. It took me about an hour to edit out all the F-bombs, but I think it makes it even funnier when you hear bleep over like 100 times in a 8-minute period. But no, we're going to be talking about some stuff that I can't really talk about here. That's not just me being really clever and trying to hook you in and get you to come over and listen to me on TFR. Part of it is Dave, he's very, very shrewd at that. But the other reason is you can't talk about that kind of thing on here. So I invite you all to join me over there in 18 minutes. Now I'll be opening up a room, or I'll be going live in a room over in Discord as well. You can go to tfrlive.com. You can get Paranormal Radio app on your Android or Apple iPhone. You can also get iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, TalkStream Live. There's probably even more ways to tune in I don't even know about. Any way you listen, I totally appreciate you being there. I appreciate everyone for being here today. Thank you very much to Leslie. Really, really appreciate that. If people do want to support the stream, but you don't have to, I'm not saving anyone. It's for yours truly. Make no bones about that. You don't have to, but the PayPal is in the link. And super chats, but I'm just about to get out of here, so don't hit super chat because we'll be gone by the time it comes through. So I want to thank you all for being here. I'll see you all over on the Kev Baker show real soon. Let's crash the chat room over at tfrlive.com/chat. And of course, after my show, you've got Lockie and Dr. Brooks Agnew with Quantum Connections. So no excuse for not having your information needs taken care of, if that's even a term that exists. So folks, I'll be back real soon. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Now then, Karen, we want you over on Discord, Karen. Your links are epic. If you click on the link that ZX gave you, that should take you over to the server. If not, copy it and then paste it into our window. Sometimes that'll work. But anyone, more than welcome over there. We don't do douchebaggery. We don't suffer clowns. None of us are woke. All of us are awake. And if you think you can fit in with that, trust me, I know you can. Head on over to the Discord. And ZX, big thank you to everything you're doing with the Discord. Love you, brother. Love you all. Well, those of you that I know. I'm only joking. Of course I do. I'm out of here, folks.